It's been a very unproductive day. I'm trying to make this video happen, but there's so many things going on left and right. And I'm in the realization that right when you tap in within yourself and find what works for you and build that discipline, then there's this test of whether or not can you stay focused or not. And my golly, I have been annoyed by a lot of things around me. And traditionally, I was taught that I can either let it bother me, ignore it, or make me stronger. But what if I told you that you can actually have all three? Because you can let it bother you to make it into a motivation to do better, and then ignore it because of the stoicism in that discipline, and then grow from it, as in understand that it's part of the process. Because again, with these outside conversations of who I am in this world, it really gets to me. It just bugs me with all this gossip and rumors. But what I definitely wanted to share was that they don't care about you actually. They just care about the idea of you in their own mind. And neither should you. So don't do and that's what they mean by don't do things to impress others. It doesn't make sense to impress people that dislike you or you dislike them. It doesn't make sense. And so I'm in this current phase right now that discipline is a lot harder to maintain. It's not easy to maintain discipline because, again, motivation is just a circumstance, but discipline is the whole principle behind one's figure, one's actual doings. And that's why they say it, and that's what it means when people say success isn't linear. You'll have your ups and downs. But I feel like it's a lot more complicated than that. Because what I also learned is that when you have too much time on your hands, you end up not wanting to be productive. You take time for granted. But it's so dangerous when you have too much time on your hands, because as you age, you won't have the ability to thrive. You'll end up wanting to do everything last minute, and then it becomes a survive. So I like having deadlines. I love being challenged with pressure, with a certain amount of time. But then that way it can give you that plan on how to go from point A to B, C, D, to how many letters, even if it makes it to Z. And sure, no one wants to work a 9 to 5 and then be even working even more overtime of your outside work, and then you won't even have time to reflect. But if you have too much time to reflect, then you'll end up being depressed, and you'll end up alluding yourself to things that aren't true about yourself or about others. So I want to have that timeline of where to go next. I love that satisfaction of having a lineup of from A, B, C. Have my tea, go out for a run, go out to the gym, lunch, rest, ice skate, watch YouTube, you name it. I think everyone would love to have a proper established routine, but it's not always the case, because as I said in my last video, not everything's going to work perfectly in your hands, but productivity comes when you learn how to discipline yourself. Productivity is about doing something when it isn't your ideal plan. Because I usually don't like making videos around 2 p.m. because the lighting is not that good. But right now it's 4:30, So the lighting isn't the best, but who cares? I'm still on here making a video to you all. And had I told myself that, oh, I have time, then guess what? I would have taken this moment for granted, and this video wouldn't exist. And that's why I wrote on my journal that staying busy does give you a plan, because now when you have multiple tasks to get done in a certain period of time, it keeps you on your feet. And it's so sad because school does make you demonstrate that, but it doesn't make you realize that you can do it for yourself. And school doesn't encourage you to be you, it just gets you ready to be a worker for some CEO one day. But how come school doesn't get you ready to be the CEO? And I understand, sure, that not everyone's meant to be a CEO, but why are we laughing at the person or that one kid that does believe they can change the world? Why are we stigmatizing the kid that does have new ideas, that's going to innovate and bring the next generation forward to become stronger? How come we don't have these discussions in school or even in college? That's my question. So yeah, I mean, discipline is a lot harder than it looks. Self-care is a lot harder than it looks. Don't we all would love to have a beautiful, peaceful Sunday where we sleep in and then just casually watch Netflix and then casually have a beautiful, smooth breakfast and then casually put our face mask on and have a beautiful, clear skin with no acne? I'm sure we would all love that, but I recently got a mosquito bite on my nose. And hey, I didn't let that deter me to still give me the self-care, because I knew I deserved it. I knew I deserve it. I knew I deserve self-love. And that is when you can tell yourself you have the true discipline. Sure, it's not motivating to take care of yourself when you're not feeling good, but if anything, that's the true discipline to actually when you know how to do it. Just like there's not a lot of good natural sunlight right now, but I'm still making a video. So I want to stay busy, because if I have too much time on my hands, I'll end up overthinking, I'll end up getting disillusioned. And again, maybe it's different when you're in school where you have so much homework to get done, but why don't you hold yourself to an account? Why not challenge yourself to post a video by a certain day? Why not challenge yourself to make X amount of money or amount of sales through your side hustles? Because I'm sure there are currently young Gen Z high schoolers that do have side hustles. I'm sure there are freshmen this year in college that have their own side hustles. You can do it. You can honestly do it. You can make anything happen. And so the good old saying that it doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. Oh my gosh, that is such an underrated take. Because me feeling with a lack of purpose, I'm sure that was meant for me to remind myself what is my current purpose. It is really interesting, right when you build discipline and then you have the motivation to focus on yourself, and then as soon as you tap in, there's these distractions going on, right? Like a text message from a past buddy of mine from high school. Why does that happen? And that I don't know. But understand here that you have the talents. You just don't spoil yourself enough with it. Why is it so easy to give work and school your talents of being on top of things, but how come you're not willing to love yourself with it? Please understand that success is your own journey. It's not for others to see. And I think in the next video, I'll definitely talk about this one book that I've been reading, about how it's about how much you deliver. Your worth is about how much you can give. as in delivering, not how much you charge. And I think this win is trying to stop me from continuing to talk to you all, but I'm not going to let that detour me. And neither am I going to regret that I should have made a video sooner, because everything comes at its own time. As I said before, that once you find what you're good at and be an expert by reading books, learning from other people that have that same skill. Once you become that expert and you bless others with that talent, now you have to plan on how you're going to use that talent, and you're going to have people that will tell you, oh, that's not a valid talent. Frick them to the fullest. Frick them to the fullest. If you know it can help others, you do it. You continue to show it. And this is why I'm saying here today that discipline is a lot harder than it looks, because it's not only just what you can control, it's also having to deal with what the outside forces is giving to you. Because motivation comes too, but it's more of that boost. That's why they say that motivation is what it doesn't lead to success. It's discipline. And discipline is about learning how to still get to where you want to be, even when there are things that aren't out of your control. And that's why it's so powerful. It's admirably powerful. It's your choice if you feel like you have too much time on your hands, because again, if you constantly, I'll just leave it at that, because I had suffered through personal depression because I had too much time on my hands. So, yes. Oh, I forgot to say this. Busy isn't productive, and neither do you have to be productive to stay busy, because it goes back to work hard versus work smart. You want to work hard to work smart if you can't work smart immediately, right? But as soon as you know how important it is that productivity is an ideal, that you can't always be productive, and then unproductivity can be part of a process of being productive. Because what if you're unproductive on days when you have too much time on your hands and you feel unproductive? It can give you that reminder to why you have a purpose in the first place. Because trust me, if you don't have a purpose, then you'll be given a lot of time on your hands. But if you have a purpose, then your time shrinks. I hope that helps you all, because it sure does help when I realize that. And I want to thank you all for watching, because I have been going through a 2-3 week time period of feeling not lazy, but unproductive. And I don't have that purpose to drive. But now, realizing that I do have a talent, I know how I'm going to use it, and actually, I'm being honest, I don't know when the deadline is, and that scares me. But as soon as I do have that deadline, then I realize how I know I'm going to be that rock star and make the community happy around me. Yeah. Well, thank you all for watching, seriously. And I hope this helps, because you need to understand that not every day you're going to feel productive, but take the time to realize that you do have a talent, and understand how does that talent relate to the purpose, and how does it get you to that deadline, that end point within that deadline. Yeah. All right, I'm talking too much. All right, well, talk soon. Take care, you all. Bye.